Boomer freaking Sooner. The Oklahoma Sooners, Brent Venables, Jim Nagy, and Jay Valai go out today and get themselves another commit in the 2027 class. Guys, Oklahoma now has the number one class in the country right now in 2027. And I don't think they're done yet. So the question is, what does that 2027 class look like for Oklahoma? We're going to talk about that today. We're also going to talk about Oklahoma's newest commit because we can't gloss over that. He is an absolute stud on the defensive side of the ball. Before we do that, as always, I want to hear from y'all. So join the discussion. There's lots of new folks joining the channel. Would love to hear from you. Pop down in the comments below. Love to interact with you guys there. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that like, hit the subscribe button so that you're not missing out on any Oklahoma football or recruiting content. We put it out here pretty daily for you at this point. And yeah, this is a great place to be to get caught up to speed with what's going on. But we got to talk about the Oklahoma Sooners new commit today. Before we talk about some of these other prospects in 27 that I think Oklahoma ideally probably has a chance with, Oklahoma got a 4-star cornerback to lock it in today. And not just a 4-star cornerback, a top 200 player in the country. You heard that right. Mikhail McCreary, the 6-foot, 170-pound cornerback out of San Antonio, Texas, out of Claudia Taylor Johnson High School. If you remember him and that name sounds familiar, that's because just a couple weeks ago, we had him here on this podcast to talk about post-visit from Michigan, how he felt about Oklahoma. If you watched that interview, you maybe felt really good about where Oklahoma stood with him. But I did get a chance to catch up with Mikhail today after his commitment and really just ask him, like, hey, what changed? What led you to commit so early? And he's just like, listen, like a few schools, they had really started digging in with him, presenting opportunities and offers. And listen, he just said, I talked to my family and the timing just felt right to lock it in with Oklahoma. So as a Sooner fan, you feel really good about that news. But the question is, what is Oklahoma getting in another 6-foot wide receiver? Well, he's got 14 offers from some of the best teams in college football, especially that help produce corners. You got Texas A&M in there. You got Arizona. You got, not Arizona, Arkansas, Florida, Baylor, Houston. And listen, he would have probably picked up more offers throughout the season, and he probably still will. Like, it's 2027. A lot of time to go by. A lot of teams are still going to try to get involved as they start to build out these classes. But kind of looking at him, Gabe Brooks, a 247 Sports scouting analyst, kind of had this to say about him. Corner by trade with a lean, wiry, athletic build, could play multiple roles in a modern secondary from corner to free safety or even nickel. He's adequate to above average verified athletic markers in combine and track settings that support encouraging functional athleticism and pads. He's a multi-sport athlete, guys. So again, that narrative that we continue to push with these are the guys that Jim Nagy's looking for. Jim Nagy likes guys that are track and field prospects. So does Brent Venables. We have started to see this many times. As a sophomore, he ran 100-meter reps of 11:38 and 11:41, posted an 11:49 100 as a freshman in the spring of 2024. And then you look at what he's been able to do on the field. We're going to get into kind of who he is as an athlete here in just a second, but 46 tackles, 9 pass breakups, 1 interception for a touchdown, and 3 interceptions in 2024. So a kid that produces at a pretty high level. Now, the question is, though, like on the field, what does he bring? Well, when you go to the camp settings and you watch his film, he's definitely one of those guys that he's going to make a lot of pass breakups. He's going to come down with a lot of 50-50 balls on interceptions. He has an ability to track the ball at a rate in a way that I don't see a ton of other younger guys be able to do that. And remember, he's only a junior this year, so he's going to continue to improve. But when you watch how he's able to backpedal and how he can quickly change his directions, I think he's able to do that in a pretty elite way. And I think you're seeing a lot of that ability come from his track and field. So Oklahoma gets a commit from Mikhail McCreary. This now gives them 5 commits in the 2027 class with a composite score of 119.91. And like I said, gives them the number 1 class of the 247 sport rankings. But the question is, what's next for Oklahoma in the 2027 cycle? Like, who could possibly pop next? Everybody's kind of looking at Crew Jones. Crew Jones is, I think, the popular pick amongst people. You saw quite a few predictions come in favor of Oklahoma. Crew Jones is 6'4.5", 233 pounds, out of Ridgeline High School in Millville, Utah. He's the 138th player according to the 247 composite rankings, with over 30 offers. Really highly productive edge rusher. Last year, 93 tackles, 17 tackles for loss, 12 sacks. Like, this guy is, when you look at what Brent Venables and Chavis want an edge rusher, I think he fits the build. He meets the mold. I don't think Oklahoma is going to get Jalen Brewster, but a 100% could see Crew if he ends up wanting to jump on board. But what about cornerback? Because now that Oklahoma's got one guy in Mikhail McCreary, what could possibly be next at this position? Because Oklahoma's sitting pretty good right now. And he is not the only guy that Oklahoma has been sitting in a pretty spot for. Trenton Blaylock, he is Torrey Blaylock's younger brother. He's in that 2027 recruiting cycle. He's 6 foot, 165 pounds. Obviously, he's been to Oklahoma many times. That could be a guy that Oklahoma tries to go after. Bryson Brown over at Broken Arrow, the 5'10.5", 175-pound cornerback. That could also be a possibility for Oklahoma. And this is also a class where I could see them taking 2 to 3 guys to potentially kind of build some depth back in that room. Bryant Robinson is another one that I highlighted pretty early, but that's because he's out of Lone Star High School in Frisco, Texas. The same high school as Ryder Mix, Jordan Deck, who Oklahoma was in for a while. You have Davian Gross out there. So he's 6'2", 175 pounds. He's one that I have on the list to watch. But of course, I think everybody's got to talk about the one guy that visited Oklahoma for the Michigan game, where I think Oklahoma, after talking to him, made up a lot of ground and has put themselves in a prime position to go out there and try to land his commitment, especially with South Carolina and Clemson not having good seasons. And that's going to be Joshua Dobson, the 6'1", 175-pound corner out of Fort Mill, South Carolina. He's the number 5 overall player in the 247 composite rankings. He's got 30 total offers. Another track and field athlete. He went to Notre Dame recently, went to Tennessee. He's obviously been to Clemson. Clemson and South Carolina were probably right up there in his recruitment. But I think Oklahoma has been able to take prime position in this recruitment, with South Carolina and Clemson not being good, getting some momentum after that Michigan game. Obviously, with the 5-star corner, there's going to be a lot of hurdles Oklahoma's going to have to get over with fighting every single elite team in the country. But also, this is going to be a guy that he's going to demand big-time NIL money because of how good he is. And so Oklahoma's going to have to want to pay up for a guy like that. And so it's going to be interesting to see, because Oklahoma's got a plethora of corners that they could take in this class. And I'm not sure, now that you already have one committed, if you need to go balls to the wall for a guy like Joshua Dobson. If he wants to hop on, cool. If he doesn't, Oklahoma, they're going to get plenty of other really talented guys. So really good pickup for the Oklahoma Sooners, but I want to hear from y'all. So join the discussion. Jump in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts. If you're new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that like and hit that subscribe button.